Hey there, Alan here, and I'm providing or creating this video as a part of my overview of Lake Cascade State Park. This video coming up, you get to geek out on the East Shore campgrounds. I'm going to drive through each one of them and offer a brief narration of what's there and what my impression was. The main post for this can be found at rvacrossamerica.net/Lake Cascade. With that, and with very little other fanfare, here we go. We're going to start with the Blue Heron Campground at the south end of the entire stretch of East Shore campgrounds. And I encourage you to go to my site, rvacrossamerica.net/Lake Cascade. I have a map there I prepared that kind of details things and helps you to follow along. All right, with that thought, here we go. We're about to enter the Blue Heron Campground. This is at the southern end on the East Shore, a little bit south of the town of Cascade, Idaho. It's part of Lake Cascade State Park, and you're within probably a 10-minute drive of the town of Cascade. This particular campground has few facilities. It does have a boat ramp, and we just passed the camp host site. Most of these sites are tent sites. There's another area on the west shore which is tenting only. There are two sites here which are actually further from the water than the camp host, and they're small for RVers. So RVers can get in. You're looking at maybe a 23, 24 foot camper at most is going to fit into Blue Heron. But it is a nice area. All the camping areas are very nice. All the camping areas are very clean. They're well maintained. This one, like most of them, has primitive bathrooms. They'd be pit toilets here. You now see that we're doing the loop around the boat ramp, and they provide life jackets as a courtesy, and they're required, of course, like with every other lake, to be used. And again, a nice wide open area. There's a golf course just north of here. Again, you're only about 10-15 minutes from the center of Cascade, and Cascade itself, and I've got a video on that in my main intro video to this, again at rvacrossamerica.net/Lake Cascade. You'll find all the facilities that you need: gas station, grocery, restaurants, and such. And there's a lot more there, and my other video we'll talk about that. But this is Blue Heron. It's, again, mostly a tenting area, and it's got shared water throughout the facility, but there is no water or electric or sewer at each particular site. We're about to exit, and we'll be turning north along the road that runs right on the east shore of the lake, and we'll be heading towards the campgrounds that get progressively closer to the town of Cascade. So we're now headed northbound. We're about to enter the Big Sage Campground area, and again, these are all called individually units. So Big Sage unit in Lake Cascade State Park terms. As we enter it, the lake, of course, is just to the west of us. We're on the east shore. And this is a long linear area. You have sites that are immediately adjacent to the water. I don't want to say right on the water. There is a walkway to the right of these sites, and there is a fence to the right of these sites. And you're about 10-15 feet above the water itself. So from some of these sites on the right-hand side, you could actually launch a small boat or a kayak or something. So that's kind of a convenience of being waterfront. It's also a great view. You have sites to the left which are not quite waterfront, but they're pretty close. And this is a area that has water and electric at each site. And remember that Idaho state parks do charge for that. They have a different fee structure, and If you're over 62, you're going to get half price, but if you're under 62, there is a significant cost to it. So look into what the cost structure is. Big Sage and or Sage Bluff, I believe, closed right after Labor Day. So you want to check with the state park if you are before Memorial Day or after Labor Day to make sure that these areas are open. But this is definitely one that I would consider if I could get a waterfront site, a site to the right of where we are on this road. And individual maps do exist for each of these camping areas. So we're about to come to the end of Big Sage, and then we'll make a turn, continue north along the lakefront road, and work our way east. And you can see some of these sites, or many of these sites on the right, are pull-throughs, and they're fairly large pull-throughs. So you could accommodate a fairly large camper to get into here. And again, we're in Big Sage, and Big Sage is water and electric. And again, you might want to refer to my map to see where we are, and again, what the facilities are here relative to any of the other campgrounds. Okay, we've exited Big Sage and we're about to turn into Sage Bluff. It's going to look very similar to Big Sage. The biggest difference here is that where Big Sage has water and electric at each site, Sage Bluff has just water. The access to the water itself, to the lake, is pretty similar. This campground is going to be less crowded because it's a water only. There's no electric at the sites. And again, you're going to find pull-throughs, actually some back ends on the right. I think there are a couple of pull-throughs in here. As we go through this, we'll see what it looks like. Okay, we're now in Van Wyck. Now, Van Wyck is a little bit farther north, and Van Wyck is completely primitive. Van Wyck has no water, no electric, no sewer, although there is a dump station here. It's kind of a common dump station to all of the East Shore campgrounds, with the exception of Ridgeview, where some of the sites, only some, have full hookups. So at Ridgeview, you need to check my notes on rvacrossamerica.net/Lake Cascade so that you can see at Ridgeview which sites have the full hookup, and at Ridgeview which sites are water and electric only. So again, this is Van Wyck. It also has a boat ramp which is right at the end of this road that we're driving on. You do have some waterfront sites here. It's almost like dispersed camping. You're just camping on the grass, and you're quite a bit above the water level. So at the moment, we're proceeding southbound within the campground. Again, you can obviously see the lake is on the right-hand side. You can see some of the sites to the right. They're not particularly level. And the same thing is true of the sites to the left. When you're parked on the grass, you're going to have to level the camper and do a little bit of work to get that level. There is plenty of room in here. In fact, all the campgrounds, all the units that we've been in outside of Blue Heron have plenty of space. This one, the sites, especially to the right, are a little bit shorter. You can see I stopped here for a second. There's a fifth wheel off to the left, fairly large fifth wheel. That could fit in pretty easily off to the left, but on the water side, especially if you back into those sites, they're probably more appropriate for a 28-foot or so camper. Some of the sites will accommodate a little bit more. Again, this Reserve America has great information showing you the length of each site, and they're pretty spot on with what it is they allow and what it is you can actually get in there. So we're coming towards the end of Van Wyck. I'm allowing a driver to get through, pulling his trailer and boat. And this will be entering the parking lot, which is where people park for the boat ramp area. A turn to the left here and a head up the hill slightly, and then another turn to the left will bring us again past Van Wyck. I'm not going to take you through all that, and into Ridgeview. We're about to enter Ridgeview. We're going to shift gears here on the video in a second. Here we go. And now we've eliminated that stretch of driving and we're entering Ridgeview. Ridgeview is the premier camp unit on the East Shore. The sites we're passing right now are water and electric only. And we're going to make a right, which is going to take us a little further away from the water. And those sites are also going to be water and electric. We're also going to be driving past bathroom facilities in a moment that are modern bathroom and shower facilities, in contrast to every other camping area that we've been through in the last few minutes, which you're going to find primitive camping. Again, pit toilets is the rule of the day for every camping unit or campground outside of Ridgeview. So as we go up and along here, we're going to move eventually. I believe I stopped there for a moment to see the rates, and I think the rates are real close to $50 or a little bit over a night for Ridgeview. So it is definitely premier camping for this area. The sites that we're driving to now are a little further away from the water. We're still in Ridgeview. They are a little higher up. They afford excellent views. You've got pavement throughout Ridgeview. That's not the case necessarily in every other campground. Some are gravel roads, some are just dirt, particularly Van Wyck. So we're headed through Ridgeview now. There's a big turn coming up here. We're obviously coming back close to the water. We're going to make a turn, drop down a little bit. You're about to see the full hookup sites. There's about 7 or 8 of them. So these are the premium sites. I'm slowing down for a speed bump. You'll see some people standing around outside just past the restroom. And again, it's a modern restroom. And those folks standing around are standing at the camp host site. Actually just before the restroom. And there's the modern restroom and shower facilities. We're headed back towards the water and electric sites now, which we passed on the way in. And when you come out of here, make sure you learn the roads around here, because if you're pulling a trailer, there are a couple of roads that can get you in trouble. There's a road called Dam Road, spelled D-A-M. You do not want to bring a trailer up or down Dam Road. Quite an experience. We are about to enter Crown Point, and Crown Point's another one that you're going to want to definitely check with the State Park office as far as the best way to enter Crown Point when you're pulling a trailer. The roads here are gravel, and it can be a little bit tricky coming in from the town of Cascade to get into Crown Point. It's only a mile, but if you take the wrong road, you're going to regret it. So check with the State Park office before you go in. There is a sign right on Idaho 55, and if you follow that and then stay straight when you get to the Four Corners, that should get you right into Crown Point. Crown Point is primitive camping. It does have shared water, which means that you don't have it at every site, but you have hydrants scattered around the campground. As we go through here, you're going to notice the sites are mostly for smaller campers. This is not a place I'd bring a big boy. There are some tight turns in these roads, and there are a few places that if you had anything much over 30 feet, depending on where you go within the campground, you might not be a happy camper. The water is clearly off to the left here. We're doing a loop that'll take us closer to the water, but at no point in this campground are you exactly on the water except for a couple of sites. Most of the sites have some pretty good distance between themselves and the water. If nothing else, they're significantly higher than the water level. So if you had a kayak or a boat that you just wanted to be able to put in the water, that might not work quite as well for most of the sites within Crown Point. There are a couple that we're passing by that would be just fine, but there are a lot that wouldn't necessarily be just fine. And again, size is not your friend in this campground. It's an older campground. It's definitely grown very nicely with woodlands, and it gives you absolutely a very rustic atmosphere. But you need to know what you can bring in here and what you can't. Again, it's dry camping and with the shared water. So the only campground that doesn't have shared water, again, is Van Wyck. This one and the one coming up next, Sugarloaf. Sugarloaf is where I stayed when I spent a little bit over a week in the state park, and realized that just like any other state park, 2 weeks is the limit. Then you got to depart and stay out, I guess, a certain number of days before you can come back. So here we are coming up towards the end of Crown Point. And again, when you leave here, there are a few different options on the roads. Make sure you know which one you intend to take, particularly if you are pulling a trailer. That would be particularly significant. You're right near the dam here, and the roads can get squirrely. Jumping now to Sugarloaf. Sugarloaf is about 2 miles off of Idaho 55 and about 7 miles north of the town of Cascade. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. This is the entrance road to it. There is a boat ramp here. The campsites are not on the water, but they have a nice overlook of the water. You'll see the one that I grabbed had probably one of the best overlooks of the water. As we enter in here, I made a turn to the right. There's a loop here off on the right side. There's also a loop that I was in that you'll see in a moment where I was and the kind of view that I had. Sugarloaf is again shared water. I happen to have a hydrant right next to my site. My hose easily reached it. However, because it's shared water, you are expected not to leave your water hose connected to it. Kind of goes without saying. And that way your neighbors who could be next to you or across the road from you will have access to that water if and when they want it. So we're looking at traveling through the campground. Coming up very shortly on my site, this is kind of a high spot. The lake is down in front of us. And as we get closer and closer to my camper, you'll see that there was really a very nice view of the lake from where I was. Definitely a camping area that I would return to and I would recommend. It's nice, wide open, easy for larger rigs to get in and out. Very easy to work. No question about that. And here we are, my camper, and I'm going to back in, and that should do it for the East Shore Campgrounds. RVAcrossamerica.net /Lake Cascade.